Without further ado, we'll get the candidates for Vice President activities up either side of me up here. Thanks very much. It's up to the candidates if they wish to be seated or standing when they deliver their remarks. So the candidates for this year for the elections 2014 in the DP activities position are Jack, Will, James, Mohammed and Gregory. Of those candidates, Will, James, Mohammed and Gregory have joined us for the question time today. And the first candidate who has a minute to speak is Will Frandon.
Hi everyone, my name is Will Frandon. I'm the current VP Activities at the Students' Union. I'm running for re-election this year. Over the past year, I've started a lot of projects and a lot of campaigns that I'm really looking to finish up over the course of the next year. I have a lot of ideas that can benefit a lot of different students across a lot of different areas of university. However, I need the next year to be able to do that. I've got the ability to do it from the year's worth of training that I've received in the job. I'm committed to doing it as the reason why I'm running for the elections, and I've got the experience to do it as I've learned how to deal with a lot of situations and how to cope with them and respond to them positively over the past year in office. So that's why I think you guys should vote for me, Will Frandon, next week. Thank you.
Thanks, Will. The second candidate to speak is James Mitchell.
Hi, my name's James. I'm the president of the Triathlon Club, which I set up from scratch 2 years ago. I also represent over 25 sports clubs to the Student Union, of which I meet with once a month, and we take their ideas forward. I also talk to a lot of societies in terms of trying to work out exactly what's best for them. Not so much in a professional role as it would be with a swag, but in more of a friendly role because most of them are my friends. Next year I look to make sure that we get the most out of everything. I've got a lot of things I'd like to put forward trying to make the university healthier, better and easier for students, such as prices and things like that. Participation's a huge thing I think we need to do, and also making sure that the students actually know what's going on and why things are happening. I suggest you vote for me because I've got such a lot of experience working with people, a good relationship and a network, and hopefully we can make it better next year than it has been this year. Thank you.
Thank you, James. The next candidate to speak is Mohammed Salman Merchant.
Hi, my name is Mohammed Salman Merchant and I'm the current president of the Ahlul Bayt Islamic Society. I think that KUSU is not doing an effective SMO, social media optimization. I think it is a very good way to encourage the students and to make them aware of the upcoming events. Next year, this year I would be running for VP activities, and I would like to do an effective SMO, social media optimization for KUSU, so that most of the students know about the upcoming events and upcoming updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. And the last candidate to speak is Gregory Salmon.
Hi, my name is Greg Salmon. Currently the Social Secretary for Rugby. Apologise for any sort of flaws in this speech because I was pretty unaware of this whole session. Basically, I have not got the credentials, to be honest with you, as like a swag rep or someone who's currently working for KUSU, but however, I think I've got very good values in terms of I've always been brought up on music, rugby, any other sport. I've sailed at a national level, I've played rugby for county, and I think just in general, I've got a very good grounding for wanting people to get involved with anything extracurricular. I think it's a great thing in terms of employment, just generally life. I think it benefits your university life in general. So, and the things I aim to do are just listen to the students. I mean, at the moment I've got a list in works at the moment, just listing exactly what every single activity in sport wants to changing, and then I've got other ideas that I'll highlight in my manifesto.
Thanks, Greg. So we'll move on to questions now. So as I say, we've got a mixture of the questions that we've gathered in beforehand and a chance for you to ask questions. I think really we're looking for questions ideally from people who aren't themselves candidates for other full-time positions, but if you are a student and you're not one of the other candidates and you've got a question, I'll take that question now. Is anyone who's not themselves a candidate want to ask a question? They don't? Okay. Okay, well, I'll let a candidate ask a question then. Anyone else want to ask a question that is a student? They don't, so it's just as well I've got some that were prepared earlier then, isn't it, really? So let's see. Okay, so the first question that we've got, these questions are from a mixture of the students involved in sports societies and course rep activity in KUSU at the moment. So the first question is, for VP activities, what do you think is more important? Getting more students involved in elite sport and improving the results of Kingston University sports teams, or getting a higher proportion of students to take part in sport and exercise more generally at any level? So what do you think is more important? Getting more students involved in elite sport and improving the results of Kingston University sports teams, or getting a higher proportion of students to take part in sport and exercise more broadly at any level? And for a 2 minute, up to a 2 minute answer for that question, we'll take Greg first.
Okay, I mean, I've played at high levels and I've really enjoyed it, but personally, from sort of how I've grown up in my latter years, sort of being a teenager and stuff, I've sort of got more into the personal fitness side of things, and I think in terms of sport, it's just participation's more important. You just need to get numbers and just spread, it's like spreading the word of the sport, and that runs the same with any activities, volunteering, like, was it directly with sport or just activities in general? Sorry. So basically, yes, I do agree with getting more participants than elite sport, because I just think just the health benefits and stuff like that, and getting the sport well known as opposed to just focusing on the elite athletes. So, yeah, that's my answer.
Thanks, Greg, and we'll take Mohammed next.
I think we should encourage the students to participate more and more in the sports activities. I would like to share my experience that when I was in the high school, I was never selected in the team, the cricket team. I was a big fan of cricket. I liked to play cricket, but I was never selected in the team. But then I got selected in the under-19 Pakistani cricket team, and I was the match winner. So I would encourage more and more students to participate in the sport activities rather than making the Kingston University team win. Yes, that's our priority, no doubt, but I would like more and more students to participate in the sport activities. Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll take James next.
My answer is simply neither. They're both as important as each other. And it was shown in my manifesto, there is a worrying trend at the moment, as a report shown from the BBC, that there is a lack of people taking part in regular physical activity between the ages of 18 and 24. That is university age. The worrying trend in how obesity is carrying on. I myself, when I started the cycling club, was 15 stone. That was 18 months ago, or something like that. I started because I wanted to meet people and because I wanted to get fit, because I looked in the mirror and it wasn't pretty. Now I am competing at a high level. I'm going to compete in Bucks for triathlon next year, and I only learned to swim in September. So for me, it is in there. In my manifesto, I also look at highlighting focus sports, where we give some more money to certain clubs to try and get better coaching in order to move us up the Bucks League. That is important. They both lead to each other. Without participation, we can't put teams out. Without quality, we can't attract people to come to our university. Neither of these points are more important than the other. They link together to make Kingston sport at university a much, much better place.
Thanks, and then finally on this question, Will.
I think we should be trying to push both high-level sport and student involvement in sport across all levels. There's a number of different aspects and positive things that come out of playing sports, and I think that we should be pushing it at all different levels. The university's philosophy is to get as many students involved in sport as possible, regardless of how they're performing. And I think we as the Students' Union should be encouraging that philosophy as well onto our students. And as part of doing this, one of the projects that I'm working on at the moment is a project with Student Services Administration, where by filling out an application form and submitting this to Sport England, we can apply for up to £15 million to encourage social sporting activity here at Kingston. So that's one of the projects that I'll be working on over the next year.
Thanks. Okay, so while they've been answering those questions and you've got the idea of it, has anyone come up with a question they want to ask from the floor for the second question? Yeah, we've got a question over here.
name's Ivan. I have 3 questions in one maybe. Do you know about the closure of the School of Planning and Surveying, and what is your idea about it, and how do you think that the student union should deal with that happening in your role as vice president of the union?
So the question is, do you know about the proposed closure of the School of Surveying and Planning, and what would you plan to do in your role about that?
Yeah, what are your thoughts about it?
What are your thoughts about it? What would you do about it? So up to 2 minutes to answer that one, and we'll take James first.
I do know about it. I was at the big student meeting when it was kind of brought to the attention mainly of the whole of the university who was sat there. It is a really, really disappointing situation. It's a great shame when anything gets shut down. You guys work so hard to have it, to get to university in the first place, let alone then to have it taken away from you after 1 year. Dealing with it, continue exactly what all the vice presidents now are doing. They're doing a fantastic job. They're doing everything in their capabilities to do it. Pushing forward to make sure that your school stays is a fantastic approach. Myself and my flatmate have looked into as much as we can do from the business side, because that's what we study, and we're trying to go to as many of the stuff that you guys are putting on and looking out for you both on Facebook and everywhere else. Basically, you just got to continue with what's going on, keep pushing, try and find ways through business aspects, because that's how the university's looking at it, is through money, through what you guys are asking for. Give them the opportunity to look at it and say, if we do this, it is better for the university as a business. It is better for us through the league tables will increase. We can save this school by looking at it through the way the university is looking at it, not through the way that you guys are. You guys have it through the passion that you've worked hard to get into this place. You want to continue it, and you've got great friends here. If we turn it around and look at exactly how the university look at it, we can find ways that they could change it, other ways that they could make it better, and then it will be perfect for you. You'll keep your school, and the university would also be happy. That's the best way to look at it, and it's the way that I'd look at it.
Thanks. We'll take Mohammed next on this question.
Yes, I have heard about it, and I think it's a very disappointing thing. It will not give a good impression of the Kingston University. What I am planning to do is I'm planning to launch a campaign on Facebook, because social media is the most effective medium for getting your voice heard. So inshallah, I expect that the team which will be elected this year will look into this problem. Thank you.
Thanks, and we'll take Greg next.
I can answer this question simply. No, I do not know what the issue is about, and I have heard about it. I've seen the partition going around, but I've been doing my dissertation and have my head down, so sorry, I have not. I don't know what it's about.
Thanks, and then finally on this question we'll take Will.
No, thank you for bringing that up. I think that's a really important issue that needs to be addressed. Over the past couple of weeks, when I found out about it on Thursday, our immediate reaction from the Students' Union was to get feedback from different students on what they think about the issue. Obviously, a lot of them have been angered, so to support this, I've been helping to lead on the campaign to save the school. I basically myself submitted a motion to the big students meeting that was in favor and pushing the Students' Union to keep the school open. At the moment, we've got a couple ideas on what steps we can take next. The full-time officers and myself are going to be writing a student kind of consultancy report, submitting to the university that outlines the students' fears for their future education. The next step also that we're planning is to host a kind of celebrate the school day, where we bring in kind of future employers of the School of Surveying and Planning. Different alumni have already graduated, and a way of showing the university what the value of the school is and what it can bring to not only ourselves but the community around us.
Thanks. It's not as easy as you think to start and stop a stopwatch. I'm going to go to one of the other questions that we've got in advance, but if it's quick answers, we may get another one in from the floor as well, as we're slightly ahead of time. So the next one that was pre-submitted for BP activities is, you'll probably be able to guess which group this one came from. How will you ensure that society's funding is not cut, as we have 30 extra societies this year, but there's no more money available to support them? So how will you ensure that society's funding is not cut, as we have 30 extra societies this year, but there is no more money available to support them? So we'll take on that question Mohammed first.
Yes, I think I'll encourage the external sponsors with the permission of Kingston University to sponsor the events for the societies so that there's less burden on the university fundings and the university is able to support the societies in their capacity. Yes.
Thanks. And we'll take Will next.
Yeah, I think this is a serious issue. Over the past semester, I've submitted a paper to the trustee board that opened up some of the funds that we had in dormant societies and gave that to societies at the moment to have additional funding, and that's how societies were able to have additional funding for the second semester. As for the next year, we just need to show not only the Students' Union and the university, but the value that societies bring and what they can offer to the university. In another way of doing this, I'm planning on hosting a Celebrate Diversity event in November that we've already had the okay from widening participation and have received a large budget for. And I think this is a great way of setting an example of what the societies can do at university.
Thanks. And next we'll take Greg.
To be honest with you, don't have too much idea about funding and stuff. The only thing I can suggest is I've got a lot of ideas about just fundraising in general, using all the numbers in sports, activities, everything. There's massive numbers in it. And I think there's a lot of money that can be raised just through charity events. I mean, I know from last year, netball alone, just the netball team managed to do a small event which raised a tiny amount of money, a decent amount of money. But if you did that throughout the whole of activities, the numbers in it is just ridiculous. So I just think there's a lot of money to be made through that. But in terms of the actual funding for the activities, to be honest with you, I can't give a particularly educated answer on it.
Thanks. And lastly for this question, we've got James.
Well, if society's funding has stayed the same and 30 extra societies have joined the situation, then their funding has already been cut. It's simple, it's the fact that the amount of societies there are, they've now got less money between them all. At the start of this year, sport got cut £38,000, and from working on SWAG, we've gone through looking at the different ways to achieve the same performance, the same level of value that we're giving to the students, but a hell of a lot less money. My background is accounting, so using money and finances is something I'm very comfortable with. We do need to encourage the university to try and give more money towards it. In business terms, Herzberg McGregor talks about hygienic needs of motivation. Now, this talks about is what societies and sports are to the university. Without these, the university will not attract students. The university needs to realise this. If the university doesn't have these in place, these hygienic needs, they all of a sudden will have no chance of getting anyone coming to their university, because that's what they look for. And even top university students, such as people getting free A's, will look to see if their sports club is at that university, and if it's not, then they won't go. One of my best friends runs for England, and he didn't go to Oxford because they didn't offer the same sporting stuff as when he went to Bath. Now, to increase the societies and that through here, one of the ways that in my manifesto is to increase society and sports together, their participation in the same things. This increases numbers, this increases fundraising. Working together, you can put the two numbers into it and get more money back out. We do need to lobby the university, that's the most important thing. They're the ones who control the funds that come to us. But for societies, I will help you by making sure your finances stay the same, the way that you actually can fundraise for better, and literally you will be fine. Sport has happened and we've got through it. It's a bad time for everyone, but I promise you, you will be fine and it will not affect you that badly if any cuts do happen.
Thanks. We've just about got time to take one extra question from the floor for this position, if there is one, and there is one at the back. If you can say it towards the camera.
Hi, my name is Omar. As we currently know, there's a massive problem with the prayer space in and around campus, not just on Penryn Road, but across Kingston Hill, as well as Roehampton Mill, who currently don't have a prayer space for the Muslims. And as we know, the number of Muslims year on year is increasing. And Penryn Road currently, this space we have, is not sufficient to hold the numbers we have there. What do the people or the potential vice presidents have in mind to do for that?
Okay, so what are you going to do to improve prayer space from the situation that we have currently on all of the different campuses? I think basically is that right?
Yeah.
So we'll go back to the original order for this one. So we'll take Will first.
Yeah, no, thank you for raising that. I think that's a really good point. Over the past year, Lizzie and I have been sitting on the property insurance group, which is essentially one of the main real estate groups on campus, and we have brought this issue up, both here and at many different levels of the university, stressing the need that you guys do really need more prayer space. On top of that, with the townhouse coming down at some point, we've also been stressing the need that within our own space, we're willing to give up less of our own space to give you guys more prayer space. That's one of the most important things. Currently within this group, we've also been lobbying them to provide you more space at our other campuses, at Roehampton Vale, at Knights Park. I think that we just need to keep putting pressure on them and use the kind of relationships that we've already built up with them to keep putting pressure on them to get you guys the space that you need.
Thanks, and we'll take James next on that.
Again, this is another hygienic need. The fact that if you don't have prayer space, you can't pray. The fact that you need it is the fact that if you don't have it at the university, you won't come to the university. Without the university having this space, they will lose a hell of a lot of people coming in. This needs to be shown to the university, and the only way to do that is through reports and through literally telling them, like, we need this. The fact that there's no prayer space at Roevale, I was already aware of this. There's really a lot of stuff at Roevale that's not there that really should be, and it is really disgraceful. It's something that I would look upon doing. Roevale is a campus a lot of my friends are at, a lot of people, I go up there at least once a week to do studying, and it's something that I really do want to try and connect back with the university and get involved. I went up there the other day, the KUSU office, door was open, no one looked, just leant on the door because I couldn't see because it was blacked out. Doesn't look like it's been used, and a lot of people didn't even know where the KUSU office was. So that's something I would look to change. With prayer rooms, the rooms, we just need to make sure there are some more rooms. Exactly what you guys need is a hygienic need. You have to have it. Simple as that. And without it, the university is failing you. The KUSU is probably failing its constitution to provide the stuff for you, exactly the same as it would for much else. Probably the wrong word, but we'll go. You need to have it, and I will make sure that you do have it.
Thanks, and we'll take Mohammed next.
Yes, I think there's a need of prayer rooms in all the campuses, and I will strongly emphasize on this issue. And I will not request the university only to make new prayer rooms in the campuses, but to expand this room as well, because I visit the Friday prayers regularly, and I noticed that there is no sufficient place here. So I will strongly request the Kingston University administration to expand this prayer room as well. Thank you.
Thanks, and lastly, Greg.
Again, I probably couldn't talk you through the exact logistics of getting more space for stuff like that. We'll talk about the real estate and things like that. But all I can say is that as a vice president, the function of someone like me would be to listen to your views, take them to the university and try and do something about it. So I couldn't give you, a particularly educated answer about how I'll go about doing it, but as far as I see, that's just one of many issues that might come to me that I'd have to, translate and tell the university about and act upon it.
Thanks. We've come to the end of the allotted time for the candidates for Vice President activities. Maybe at this point, would you like to show your appreciation to the Thanks for coming to take part, and good luck in your campaigns. I'm going to ask the candidates for Vice President Learning and Teaching to come up and join me now.
What